a great day at Women's Television. We have an opportunity to interview our guest, our esteemed guest, the Dr. Stacie NC Grant. And my name is Gloria Nixon Pone, and I'm the founder of Women's Television. We came to this point where there was such a necessity to hear about what our beautiful young women are doing and the contributions that they are making to society and the contributions that they're making in helping the family grow and develop. So our new Women's Television is plugged as womenstv.me. And we believe that in order to make a better world, we need to make a better a better community. And that community is comprised of persons who are willing to embark upon personal development to make a better me. So a better world, a better we, and a better me. And Dr. Stacie is the right person to hear from if you want to know about that personal development. She's worked with adults. She's worked with the National Medical Association, girls groups. And welcome to Women's Television, Dr. Stacie NC Grant. Greet our audience, will you?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Pone, for having me here. This is a great platform for you to really understand what you just shared about a better world. It really starts with us working on ourselves. So I'm humbled and I'm grateful to be able to share this moment in time with you and your beautiful audience.
Well, thank you. We're just amazed that you're here. You were introduced to us by the lovely, the fabulous Vera Moore, who is more dynamic than any person I've ever met.
Absolutely, she is, and she's more fabulous every day. The beautiful Vera Moore Cosmetics that is out there in Walgreens, Dwayne Reed. It's just wonderful. I've known her for years. I affectionately call her Mama Vera. And what she has really trailblazed as an opportunity for those who've come after her to really open up doors and opportunities and stand as a beacon of what we can do with God's talents.
Yes, well, I'm happy to hear you speak so highly of someone that I love. She always signs her name More Love, and then I'm back to her with MOOOOORE. More love to you, more hugs, more fabulous. So I'm happy she's been on our show, and we just love her. But today I want to shift the focus toward you. You're in the spotlight. You're in the hot seat. Okay. So I want to hear about how you came to this point, what your focus is, and your developmental tools in order to facilitate the movement of this world, this group of we as community, to the personal development of me. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And for those listening in, people say, well, Stacie, how did you start? Where did you begin? Because this platform that I have allows me to be able to use the voice and the words that are in this voice to be able to help inspire and change lives and to move people to a new paradigm of where they see themselves. And here's a story that I'll share just between you and I, Dr. Pone, and a few million viewers. It actually started when I was in kindergarten.
Wow.
Kindergarten. My mother took the day off, as most parents do, for that first day of school. She was all prepared for me to have a slight meltdown, very apprehensive about walking into this big building, new teachers and faces. And she said her feelings were hurt. She drove up, opened the door, I kissed her bye, put my book bag on, spun on my heels and went straight in the building, and I never turned back. Meanwhile, the parking lot is full of kids crying. My cousin was also with us. She's like throwing up. She wants to call her mother. She doesn't want to go in.
Wow.
I didn't even see all of the activity because I was inside the building.
There's a guy that I like an awful lot, and he says that, you know, you read the book of Genesis. Now, this is not a theological interview, but he says, and he says, the main thing that people forget is that God started before the beginning and began the beginning. So you were ready to go
before the beginning. And when I went in the building, she said she came back and she was concerned talking to the teacher. So how was her first day? She said, fabulous. She's like, I think she'll be great. She's very smart. I was fortunate. My grandfather played with me and taught me how to read before I started school. She said, but there's one problem. And my mother was like, oh my goodness, what did she do? She said she doesn't understand that I'm the teacher. She's gathering all the kids around.
So you were a community organizing before Obama, huh?
Exactly. I was teaching them ABCs, and I was thinking I was in control of the classroom. So the gift of talking, expressing myself, it started early. And it followed me all through school that I got in trouble for talking in class consistently.
Wow.
Straight A's, but she talks too much. Now I get paid to speak. How about that?
On that one. I love that story. I really, you know, an interesting thing, so many of my guests say that they started. I had a young doctor, Dr. Michelle Reed, and she also, you do?
Yes, I do.
Yes, she said
Fabulous.
that she knew that she wanted to be a doctor very early on, and no one could deter her from that path. And I think there's an ancient Hebrew writing that says that your gifts are born in you.
Absolutely.
And I certainly believe that, and I ascribe to that. So I pay attention to little children and what they're doing, if they're talking a lot, or if they're just looking, if they're singing, if they're dancing. I pay attention to that because they know something that we don't know.
Yes, and they're
unless
playing
we
with it.
do know that their gifts are born with us, and everybody doesn't know
They
that.
don't recognize it.
Right, right. So I'm excited when I hear that because I too have been that way. When I was a young girl, and we were in our community. I'm from Arkansas. I was born and raised there. And we had one of the few televisions in the community, and we were all watching. Everybody from the community could come and watch our TV. And so there was this play on, I think it was Gone with the Wind or something, and then there was this scene where the woman goes over and sits on the man's knee, lap. And so I went over, and there was a young boy in our living room, and I sat on his lap. But by the time I sat on his lap, just to get comfortable, you know, I was practicing for TV, and here I am. My dad walked in the room.
And that was the end of that practice. I can only imagine.
And, well, you know how dads can be. So that was a few years ago.
Just a few.
Just a few.
Because, you know, just over 18.
Yeah. And so I'm happy to be here with you, and I'm happy to be sharing at this time because I have been committed to working for and with women since I was a young girl.
Awesome.
I've always worked with women to help them. My doctoral thesis is on what I call theonomics, which has to do with the management of resources. And what I'm teaching them is how to have their own purse. You must have financial independence. And if you can create that space for yourself, you create generational freedom.
Awesome.
But I want to know if a young woman had a message, would you be able to help her to mold it and to get it out there? And how would you do that?
Absolutely. So this is my sweet spot. So working with understanding how to tell your story. That's so important because some of you watching right now, you might be sitting there saying, I want to do what Dr. Pone is doing. I want to do what I'm hearing you talk about right now. And I don't know if I'm able to. And I say to you right now, stop all doubt. You've already been equipped with everything that you need to do the very thing that you've been designed to do. So your story is a huge part of that. We all have a different story. See, a lot of times we can get caught up watching other people and thinking that their story is so different from yours that it doesn't even make sense that you share it. But every time you share your story, you empower somebody else to do the same thing. Why is this important? As we go through life, we can't do this thing called life alone. So when I talk to people and I work with them around how to craft and develop that story, we get down to the thing that really drives you. What's your sweet spot? What's the one thing that you do so well? It's so easy for you that you discount it. How do I know? I discounted my speaking skills and abilities to communicate. I thought everybody could do it. And it was my husband that said to me, you better get on your knees and ask for forgiveness because you've been given a talent and a skill. And the way you do what you do, nobody else can do it the way you do what you do. And that was an awakening moment for me because I really had to be in that space of acknowledging and accepting the truth. So when you craft that story, when you get to that place, it's a few steps that we go through to help you acknowledge your gifting. and share that gifting.
That's awesome. But I've heard it mentioned that your theme is around the 4
leaves
of Lux
Clover.
Yes. Would you tell us a little bit about that? Just a few minutes, if you don't mind.
Sure. So the 4 leaves of Lux Clover, I've been fortunate enough to now protect. It was the first product that I developed. And it is from a story that I'll share briefly with you. My grandparents are from the West Indies, my entire family, Jamaica, West Indies. And my great-grandfather was a headmaster in the school in Jamaica. And I didn't find out what he did until later in my life, because all my life I heard my grandmother say things, all sorts of sayings, and I would say Jamaicans have a saying for everything. Like, you don't eat your food, we hear something. You don't do this, you hear something. Like, okay, so this one day I came home from school excited. I wanted to be in a play, Dr. Pone. I wanted to be the lead, and I came home, and I was fortunate my grandparents lived on the 2nd floor of a 3-story house, and I ran in, I said, Grandma, there's these auditions. I really want to be in this play, but I don't think I'm smart enough. I don't think I'm pretty enough. I'm not the most popular girl. I don't think they're going to choose me. I don't think I'm lucky enough. She said, luck? Luck not have nothing to do with it. Courage and will, perseverance and skill. These are the 4 leaves.
What her name?
Grandma Pearl.
Grandma Pearl.
And I'm like, courage and will, perseverance and skill. What is a clover? Like, I'm a little kid. I didn't even know what a clover was. And thank God my grandmother is still here with me at 97 and a half years old. And when I first developed this whole product, I didn't know it was a tribute to my great-grandfather, because I said, where did this come from? I use it on platforms. I speak about it in my story. I don't want anyone to sue me. And she said, your great-grandfather taught us on the rooftop of the school every morning, repeating affirmations. And at that point, she was close to 92 years old and could still remember close to 10 of them. And with that, she was able to inspire something in me that I didn't understand what courage, will, perseverance, and skill meant. But as I grew and as I understood what it takes to be able to succeed in life, luck is not just going to happen. You have to create it. And that was the greatest gift, the gift she gave me that I give you, the 4 leaves of Lux Clover. Courage and will, perseverance and skill. And I've been able to capture that in an audio program. We're going to be releasing a book version of it, and just to honor what it is that we all have inside of us and how we align ourselves with people like Dr. Pone and Women's TV, that we can see examples of what's possible by those who've opened the door.
Well, that is awesome. I feel like I have to meet your grandma now.
Yes.
Well, I've done a book called Fruit of the Spirit, and it's an interview with persons over the age of 70, some of them over 100. And they tell their stories, and I say, these are wonderful stories of persons who literally make something out of nothing. You hand them nothing, and before you know it, it's 12 great-grandchildren, 24 great-great-grandchildren. So I subscribe to the theory of doing. You know, I have something that I call the 3 G's to greatness that was given to me by another interviewee, LeBlanc. And he says the 3 G's to greatness are: 1, get out of your own way. Why are you standing in your own way? Get out of your own way. And he says the 2nd G to greatness is to get connected to what matters. You know, don't waste your time. Prioritization, Covey tells us all about that. There are many ways where we can prioritize things and connect to what matters. And the 3rd G excuse me. The 3rd G to greatness is to get help. How many times we as women don't want to ask for help? We want to do it all by ourselves.
That is an excellent point. Ask for help. As women, we feel like we can do it alone. We want to be superwoman, and we can put the cape on and think we can do it by ourselves. Burn the cape. You need help.
Yes.
You cannot do it alone. And one of the things that a dear friend of mine that I work with, Mr. Les Brown, he talks about this all the time when we're doing different programs and creating opportunities for those in the audience who really want to grow and learn. Collaborative, achievement-driven relationships.
Yes.
Write that down. Collaborative, achievement-driven relationships. When you can pull together your resources with those who understand their lane, and they're strong in their lane, and you bring your strength in your lane, and everybody comes together, you can pave a highway to success.
Wow.
So that was a good one. Oh, thank you. Ain't the highway
Just
that
repeat it one more time.
One more time. When you can stay strong in your lane and you can work with someone else who's strong in theirs, and you build a whole community of people that are strong in what they do, their lane is their gift and their talent, then together you can pave a highway to success. That is what this is about. Collaborative, achievement-driven relationships. So come on your show to be offered this platform and opportunity to share with you and your audience, to be recommended by Vera Moore. It's all the connections, it's all the collaboration, and the more we can work together as women and understand the power that we have. We love our men, but there is something very blessed and special that has been given to us as women. Life flows through us after all. And when we can band together and work together, we can support each other, support our men, and ultimately save communities. Because I can't do your job.
Right.
Vera can't do our job.
Right.
We've all been given our gift and talent for a reason, so that we can express it in the world and make this world better because we're here. But if we think we can do it by ourselves, we're sadly mistaken. Dr. Dennis Kimbrough, in his book, What Makes the Great Great, he talks about being the smartest person in your group. If you're the smartest person in your group, you need a new group.
I'm familiar with his work.
Yes, I love him. Just love what he's written. Getting to know him in person, he's just truly a man of character and standard. And it's so important to realize that you don't have to be the shining star all the time. You want to be around people whose light is so bright that it allows you to rise to that kind of brilliance. Because we can get comfortable thinking that we're the best thing on the block, and then we don't grow.
Right.
We stay stagnant.
That's awesome. But I am going to remember that, firstly. And secondly, I thank you for sharing that, because I think our audience will be really interested. I'm sure they all got out their pen and papers and wrote that down. But my husband is a medical doctor, and I want to just bring to the point that Dr. Pone has written a book.
Awesome.
It's called We've Come This Far by Faith, Dr. Pone's 10 Keys to Success. It's the story of a little boy born with cerebral palsy who had a desire, a dream of becoming a medical doctor. And the world sort of said, no, you cannot do that. You're disabled, you're crippled. You know, don't set your sights and be disappointed. But his mother was so much of an inspiration to him. She says, honey, baby, you can do anything. God will help you. And so, needless to say, he graduated from near the top of his class at CW Post, graduated from Meharry Medical College, practiced medicine for 24 years, and in the interim, he met a beautiful,
lovely bride.
Wait, did I say young? So Dr. Pone is our sponsor.
Awesome.
So, and his book is available on the website, Dr. Pone's 10 Keys to Success. And they are keys that will help each and every one to achieve their optimal station in life.
We've come this far by faith.
But now I'm back to you, and I noticed in your bio you mentioned mentoring in medicine. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So, in addition to the work I do on the platform as an empowerment specialist and the founder of Destiny Designers University, I also own a company that provides event strategies for nonprofit and community-based organizations. And Mentoring in Medicine is one of our long-standing clients, where my team is able to help execute this conference where inner city children are able to explore careers in health and medicine that they never would have been exposed to had not Dr. Holden stepped out on faith and started an organization where she brought colleagues together to say it's not just a doctor or a nurse, but there are other areas within the medical and health sciences that can help you think about different careers. It's absolutely awesome when you see these young people come in and they learn about prosthetics, or they come in and they learn about what technicians do, or they get to hands-on do experiments on animals. Of course, they're in formaldehyde, they're not live. But they get to work with the doctors and experience what it is. They put on their lab coats and they actually make casts. It's an amazing labor of love that Dr. Holden has embarked on for this health and science expo.
Now, this is actually in one of our high schools, is this not? In Manhattan?
It is for New York. It is at the Frederick Douglass Academy 1. And that's where it's held annually. And now we're looking at maybe expanding because it's getting so big that it might be even on a college campus. And there are other chapters of mentoring in medicine that may be popping up across the country. But you can definitely check it out at mentoringinmedicine.org. And you'll go right on the website. You'll see some of the news coverage that Dr. Holden has received as a result of this work, as well as opportunities for high schoolers to get involved in after-school programs and really just open up their minds to what's possible in this industry.
Well, the SNMA, which is the Student National Medical Association, they've been around for a long time also, and they actually, I think that many of their members come through Dr. Holden's efforts, and she is just an awesome individual, and we've known her for years.
Yes,
and
she is.
We celebrate women who are doing great things.
Absolutely.
Now, I am particularly amazed, I'm particularly interested in the fact that you work with girls.
Yes. Yes,
Tell us a little bit about your work with girls.
So as a part of the platform with Destiny Designers University, we have a teen empowerment series. And I have a contract with one of the schools in the Bronx. It's an all-girl public high school, Women's Academy of Excellence. I've been working with them, now it seems like forever, but close to 5 years. And these young ladies are just some of the most brilliant minds who just need a chance. So I developed a whole program around how to help them express themselves and presentation skills, how to create great habits for success using some of what Sean Covey took from his dad with 7 Habits for Highly Effective Teens. That's one of the texts that we use. We also go through a whole self-love piece that I do with them. If they learn how to honor who they are from the inside out and loving themselves first so they can show and display that love in and outside of the classroom, it helps to really solidify the academic experience in an extracurricular way that gives them new context for their greatness. A lot of our young girls don't get that. And if they can see examples of what success really looks like, success can be subjective, but we want them to see that you can be more than what statistics say.
Well, that's awesome. In our Women's World advertisement, the last frame that you see is a little baby girl, and I think she's about less than a year old, and she crawls up and she says the words, "I am powerful."
Oh, I love that.
It begins when we're children and how we think of ourselves and how we treat ourselves, and I'm so much in favor of that. But I want to remind our audience, first I want to thank you for being here with us, and it's been such an awesome, and I want to thank my tall, dark, handsome husband, the author of We've Come This Far by Faith, Dr. Pone's 10 Keys to Success. And I want to thank myself because I had to get up early this morning. And I want to thank Joe Ben, our executive producer. And it's been a wonderful interview. I look forward to having you back on our show again.
I would love
and
it.
you can tell us of new things you're doing, and you can share whatever is going on with you. We want to keep tabs on you now.
Oh, I accept and appreciate it. I love keeping tabs, and those who love the word of prayer, send a few up for me, and God's still working on me.
Well, that's good. Hey, we got to give God something to do, don't we?
Something to keep him busy.
Otherwise, she'd be bored. So this is the Reverend Dr. Gloria Nixon Pone at womenstv.me, where we feel that the world can be a better place if we will it to be. Through the we that becomes the me, that becomes you and I and every individual who's willing to take up the task and embark upon the self-work.